life, and that's because you quit on it. Quitting is the heart of the soul, meaning if you keep that heart beating, you're going to get to where you want. I'm going to start off with my favorite poem. Hopefully some of you have heard it, but it's when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, and every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns inside out. And many a failures turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faultier man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the night slipped down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. That's my favorite poem. That's the poem that I look at to get up, to get back up, to get started, to get back started. And I thought for training today, before we get to the Q&A, make sure you put your questions and answers into that section. We'll be answering those in the second half of the training. If you want the guides, the books, the exercises for free, david@dmeltzer.com. All of my trainings are on a playlist featured on Spotify, Entrepreneur, and every platform. You can get all the trainings, books, guides, exercises, all for free, just like this training. So let's start with the training on Don't Quit. The first line is, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will. First of all, what's happening is people don't know how to deal with uncertainty. They think that these are uncertain times. Well, I have a philosophy about uncertainty because things don't go wrong. It's that lessons are coming your way. And so if we realize that all future events are uncertain. In fact, if anyone out there can certainly tell me what's going to happen tomorrow, please email me, david@dmeltzer.com. And I and you can make billions of dollars. That's with a B. I guarantee we can make billions of dollars. There is no certainty. There's just accelerated change. There's lessons that are taught to us. So we need to have the expectation that things are uncertain and there's going to be accelerated change in varying degrees, like there is today, right? We've experienced 7 years of change in 7 months. The second line of the poem, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill. Well, that sounds like the myth of Sisyphus to me, and it's an indicative circumstance of pushing a boulder uphill all day long just to have it roll down to the bottom. This is why we need to find our highest frequency at the beginning of the day. We need to find our center. We need to plateau and grow. And we know that it seems uphill. Why? Because we're in the learning zone. If you want to be in the comfort zone, high, broke, sick, sitting on your mom's couch, doing nothing, then you're not going to experience any uphill types of resistance. But if you feel like it says here, trudging seems all uphill, that's a good thing. Get stuck, lean into the hill. You can find that learning zone will then become the size of your anxiety zone. The anxiety zone will expand out past that. If you live your life in a comfort zone, if you're not trudging uphill, you're not enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. You have to have the will to lean in and to trudge uphill. When the funds are low and the debts are high, here's a problem of the ego, is that when our funds are low and the debts are high, 99.9% of the people feel down, depressed, anxious, frustrated, worried, all of the ego. Why? Because the ego consists of 3 things. 1, your employment status. You have defined yourself by what you do. Don't do it. Don't define yourself by what you do. 2, you define yourself by what you got, right? That's not what we define ourselves by. I used to define myself when the funds were low and the debts were high. If my bank account was low, I was sad. If my bank account was high, I was happy. You cannot define yourself by what you have. And then finally, please, and this is the training for next week, don't define yourself by what other people think about you or what you're doing. Next week's training is going to be on seeking approval and separating yourself from that expectation of others and the judgments, conditions that are put upon us, and the pressure and resistance that's put upon us by others. So remember, EGO, employment status, what you got and what other people think. Don't define yourself, and you won't be depressed and define yourself when the debts are low, the funds are low and the debts are high. Now, it says, and you want to smile, right? We all have an expectation of being happy, but you have to sigh. Well, I think this is a resolute. So meaning a resolute that when we can't figure out a way to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what we do, instead of trying to resist it, instead of trying to outrun it, go over it, go around it, go under it, use that little key of breathing and find your center. Find that neutrality to go ahead, instead of resisting, to find the energy in the center to move in the right directions. So when you want to smile, but you can't, that's when we breathe. You sigh. The next line, when care is pressing you down a bit. Care is the sense of responsibility for others. What we need to do to shift the paradigm of this is we have to remember that we have to take care of ourselves to take care of others. Remember the airplane example of put your own mask on first, then help the children. If you have more than one child, pick the one with the most potential first and work your way down. But make sure you put your gas mask on first, your oxygen on first. You need to take care of yourself. And so if care is pressing you down a bit, make sure the care that's pressing you down is the care for yourself, because you can't give what you don't have. And so many people literally manifest what they don't want because they care so much about others. They diminish or dissolve their own capacity trying to help others, and then they can't even help themselves, let alone helping others. In fact, a lot of times we end up having to ask for help from the people we're supposed to be helping because we didn't take care of ourselves. So make sure that you don't allow care to press you down a bit, and don't put judgments or seek approval that you're letting anyone down, because you're only letting yourself down if you're not taking care of yourself. And you know, if you take care of yourself, the more that you have, the more you'll give. Not the more you give, the more you'll have. It doesn't work that way. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. So rest is so important. And the rest is meditation, sleep, the time that we allow not only our physical being to rest, but we get out of our own way and utilize our subconscious and unconscious to connect to the greatest source of power, light, and love and lessons that we're always connect, to regenerate. You know, I talk about sleep a lot as the number one habit that we have. Sleep is an exercise of 8 hours. It's an activity of 8 hours. My day's full of 24 hours of man-made construct activity. Activity I get paid for, activity I don't get paid for, activity that's productive, activity that's accessible, activity that's gracious. And in that activity, 8 hours a day, the number one shared habit that we all have, sleep, requires a warm-up. And so we must wind down in order to warm up, right? So wind down to sleep. Set a system of relaxing, of resting, so that you are up for the challenge, but don't you quit. A lot of times when we want to quit, it's because we're just exhausted, emotionally drained, physically worn out. Don't allow yourself to get emotionally drained, physically worn out. Make sure you're getting appropriate rest. That's why it says, rest if you must, but do not quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns. This to me is the expectation of uncertainty as well as pain itself. Pain is not a stop sign. It doesn't say quit. 99% of the people think pain is quitting. Oh, it hurts too much, I'm going to quit. No. Pain is an indicator. It's a turn signal. It's telling you to twist and turn and angle to something better. It's telling you what? Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain. It's telling you one thing: to move in a different direction, to twist and turn, to angle to what you want, and have faith, not by quitting, faith that you're going to end up somewhere better than that. If you have faith that you're always going to end up in a better place, at the right place, in a perfect time, this will help throughout this message and this poem. As every one of us sometimes learns, and hopefully more than sometimes, when we're seeking the lessons, when we realize that pain is an indicator that you have a lesson to learn in order to twist and turn or move and angle in a different direction, and have the faith that you're going to end up somewhere better than that. If you're able to do that, then you're able to understand that we are here to learn, that life is about lessons, and the lessons will keep on coming until we learn them. And they result in that mental, physical, spiritual, emotional pain until we have learned that. And it's essential to see that we must learn in all situations and learn to love any situation. Remember, I've surrounded myself with celebrities, athletes, entertainers, millionaires, billionaires. It doesn't matter. Their life sucks just as much as ours. The same percentage of their life sucks just as much as the same percentage of ours. The difference is this line. They learn the lessons. They're looking for the light, the love, and the lessons and the pain, the mental, physical, spiritual, emotional pain. And that allows them to pursue their potential consistently every day, persistently, without quit, in order to keep the heartbeat running, to make more money, help more people, have more fun. You can do the same. And many a fellow turns about. So why do people quit? Why do they turn about? They lack faith. It's that simple. They lack faith. If you're going to quit and turn around and see pain as a stop sign, it's because you don't have faith that you can make it through. You don't have faith that it's going to get better. You don't have faith that there's lessons in it. You don't have faith in gratitude, productivity, accessibility. You don't have faith in forgiveness. You don't have faith in accountability. You don't have faith in, most importantly, what you're connected to. You don't have faith. So if you feel like quitting, if you're ready to turn about, think about your faith. What do you have faith in? A currency, faith. An object of energy that you put into the flow to get what you want, faith. That belief that you're going to make it through, that God's not going to give you anything you can't handle, and you're here to learn from it and become stronger and better. There's an old story about a butterfly. Haven't told it in a while, but it is about that faith and about entitlement. So a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, and there's a farmer sitting by a tree, and he sees a butterfly ripping through the cocoon. And he decides that he's going to help the butterfly by cutting open the cocoon and allowing the butterfly to come free easily, without trudging uphill, without the twists and turns, without the lessons. And what does he do? It's the same exact formula of literally turning about, because he has taken away the power. He had taken away the strengthening process that a butterfly is forced to break the way out of a cocoon so it can strengthen his wings so it could fly. So when the farmer opened up the cocoon, he killed the butterfly because it couldn't fly. Faith. Faith. You are a butterfly. You're just strengthening your wings. Have faith that you will fly when your wings are strong enough to take you to the heights that you probably never dreamed of, that you are going to end up in a better place than what you believed. Next line. So in a many fellow turns about, when he might have won, have he stuck it out. Look, 99% of the people quit before they're even 25% of the way there. They quit before they're 25% of the way there because they don't understand math. They don't understand how things grow. Because of the consistent, persistent behavior, because of the way the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind communicate with one another, because the way the exponential growth and acceleration works, is that if I told you it would take you 20 years to do something, you would tell me that it takes 10 years to get to 50%, 5 years to get to 25%. And that's why people quit. They don't understand acceleration, growth, and exponential math. What is it called? Warren Buffett's favorite, compound interest. They don't understand that it actually takes 18 years to get to 25% of the way there. And then when that doubles, it takes that 19th year to get to 50, and 50 turns to 100. In fact, I call it the 2 times 2 rule, the Noah's Ark rule of life. Go ahead, however many years you want to get better at something, just imagine if in an entire year you could get twice as many people, customers, money, whatever it was. Go ahead, take $2, times it by 2, times 2, times 2, times 2. Press it 10 times, look at the number. Test it 15 times, look at the number. Press it 20 times, look at the number. If you're 18 to 70 years old, you got at least 20 years. Go ahead, press the 2 20 times. Your $2 turns into 2 million. And you still get some time to enjoy it or leave it back for others to enjoy, to help people and to have fun with. So remember the exponentiality. Don't quit. 99% of all people give up because they don't understand math. They think you're halfway there in half the amount of time. You're not. It takes almost all the time to get to halfway there, 19 of 20 years to get there. Now it says, don't give up though the pace seems slow. This, to me, is the biggest counterintuitive thought that people have. They ask me all the time, how can I be persistent and patient? How can I be persistent and patient? Well, the pace is always going to be slow, especially if you attach your emotions to an outcome. If you attach your emotions to the outcome, everything seems to take more time. If you attach your emotions and your free will to clearing the interference of what is between you and that which you want, it already exists. If you're using your persistence and your pursuit in order to clear the way for what you want to come by the law of Goya, getting off your ass, to allow the law of attraction, to allow the things to come to you in this unbelievable, abundant world that has everything for everyone. If you do that, you will understand the blend of patience and persistence, that it takes great, ferocious behavior to clear the interference, void, shortages, and obstacles out of the way. It takes extraordinary persistence in order to clear the connection between you and that which already exists. This is very, very true in building my own brand. When I met Gary Vaynerchuk and was helping him with the sports agency, this was what I thought. I was willing. He asked, what are you willing to do to build that brand? I said, I want to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. He's like, how are you going to do that? I said, I need 2 ambassadors in year 1. Can you help me get 2 ambassadors? And he said, what's an ambassador? I said, somebody that will get me 2 more ambassadors, people that will tell everyone they got to watch, the new TV show, 2-Minute Drill. By the way, if you want to apply to it, dmeltzer.com/pitch, apply to our Bloomberg TV show, airing in January. We're taking applications now, filming in December. But more importantly, how can you get an ambassador to tell people, well, come to Friday trainings for free, read books, whatever, just 2 people. And he's like, what's that going to get you? I said, I was 50 years old when I talked to him. I said, I'm patient enough. If I stay persistent and I focus in on getting 2 ambassadors a year, every single year, 2 times 2 times 2, get your calculator, G, go look at it, bro. 2 million people getting me 2 million people when I'm 70. I'll be one of the most popular old men on the internet. And I won't be that old. But honestly, you've got to be persistent and patient. Detach your emotions from the outcome. Understand the consistent, persistent behavior of exponentiality, and most importantly, compound interest. Now, you may succeed with another blow. To me, this is the whole idea of enjoying the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of your potential. You'll never stop throwing blows. You'll never stop swinging the hammer. You'll never stop accepting no, because you are enjoying the consistent everyday, persistent pursuit of your potential. You're enjoying the pursuit of the yes, not attaching your happiness to the yes. It's a huge difference. And we need to remind ourselves that that yes is going to come. That pursuit will come at the right way at the perfect time. That's where faith comes in, is that you are going to do everything you can to, number 1, be happy where you are, which is not an easy chore, right? It's not an easy chore to be happy where you are at the right place at the perfect time. Then you got to be ferociously persistent and fierce about angling or twisting and turning towards what you want. And then on top of that, you got to have faith that you're going to end up somewhere better. All 3 of those things allowed you that you may succeed with that next blow. You never know when you are at the 25, 50, 100, 200% of the way there. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. So this is about you. Some people ask me, what's the number 1 common denominator of the spirit of excellence, of the people that are around you, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, media, billionaires, millionaires, politicians, whoever they are, people at the highest levels of their academia and their experiences and their success, whatever they define that as. What is the common denominator? I will tell you, the common denominator is they're not faint and faltering men and women. They're not faint and faltering men and women. What does that mean? That they have a desire that they must be what they can be. They have a desire. The most common denominator of people that don't quit is they must be what they can be, period. And the most common success formula is not quitting. The spirit of excellence is determined about those people. Every Olympian you read about, my business partner, Warren Moon, when he spent 6 years in Canada because they wouldn't allow a black quarterback in the NFL. What if he would have quit? What if he would have said, you know what? I've won 5 Grey Cups, 5 years in Edmonton. I'm done. I can't make it. We would have never seen, after the 6th season, 17 more years, and the first black quarterback in the NFL, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We would have missed all that. But he's consistent, persistent in the pursuit of his potential, knowing the 3 things. 1, how hard it is to be happy where you are, how much fierce behavior it takes to angle and twist and turn and accept pain as a lesson to indicate where you're supposed to go. And most importantly, the most difficult is what we cannot see because it's within us, not outside of us, faith. Faith that you're going to end up somewhere better. The next sentence, often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And I would say not often, but always. It's just a matter of twists and turns until you can find out exactly where that victor's cup is. It may be a different cup than the one that you're looking for. It may be a cup that's different than the one that you're looking for. And so many times I see athletes, especially, searching for a certain cup, and they end up with something greater than what they thought they wanted. And so when we stay persistent and consistent, when we don't quit, the victor's cup may change, but once again, with faith, we'll end up with a bigger, better, and brighter cup. And he learned too late, when the night came down, how close he was to the golden crown. This reminds me of this woman who was going across, I believe, the English Channel. She was swimming, the first woman ever, and it got really foggy. She had a support boat next to her, and she gave up and quit. And she grabbed onto the boat, and as the fog lifted up from the night, the golden crown was 200 meters from her. They couldn't see the shore. It was so foggy. This happens so many times in life to so many people, when if they just would have continued on. I love David Goggins, right? When you're ready to quit, you're only 40% of the way of what your capacity is. When you have had it, you're only 40% of the way. You got 60% more that you can give. Just remind yourself. I have a 10-minute suck rule, right? The first 10 minutes of what I do sucks, and when it gets to be sucky, it's only the last 10 minutes till it starts feeling good again. So 10-minute suck rule works for me as well. Don't be the swimmer. Don't quit. Just keep pushing through, learning the lessons, living and inspired by the light, the love in those lessons. Now, success is failure turned inside out. This is counterintuitive, that success is failure turned inside out. The only way that success is failure turned inside out is if you see failure as lessons. Right? Lessons. I see mistakes, failures, all of those things as just lessons. I've redefined them in my vocabulary, in my mind's eye, in my subconscious memory, as well as my quantum being. When someone talks about failures and mistakes, which, I went bankrupt, I lost over $100 million in 2008. People could say I was one of the biggest failures ever, mistakes, losers, whatever they wanted to find it. I just say I have paid some dummy tax. I have learned some huge lessons, and every piece of that investment I'm utilizing to the best of my ability today. And that is just a blip on what I'm going to do in my lifetime. And I'm so grateful that those lessons have came when I was in my 30s, not in my 60s, because I got plenty of time and runway to be patient with the persistence that I have in order to effectuate making those lessons last, making those lessons worth something, and not allowing other people to pay the dummy tax, to empower them so I can pay your taxes. I can pay your taxes. I can turn your failures, your mistakes inside out. That's what success is, the ability to turn failures and mistakes inside out. That's what success is. Success is failure turned inside out. That's like the pursuit of happiness. Happiness is the pursuit. Being able to turn failures and mistakes into successes is the success. The silver tint in the clouds of doubt. Once again, gratitude, having the perspective of finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything allows you to see the silver tint in everything. I tell a story about taking out the trash. I hated taking out the trash. It was a curse to me. Bad trash karma. 6 kids in my family always made me take the trash out. Went to college, smallest guy in my football fraternity, they made me take the trash out. You think 6 kid trash is nasty? Try a fraternity trash. Then I go ahead and get married, have 3 girls. Once again, everybody just assumes for my bad karma taking out the trash. And I hated it. Nobody else would help me. Trash was like kryptonite to my kids until I shifted the paradigm and found the silver tint in the clouds. Meaning I started looking at the trash differently, and I changed the way I look at the trash so the things they look at change, and I saw it as an escape, an opportunity to think about what I wanted, to pray for my happiness, to strengthen myself, and my energy shifted about the trash to the point where even my own children, who used to think it was kryptonite taking out the trash, offered to take out the trash simply because not only was I able to see the silver tint in the clouds of doubt of trash, but more importantly, shift my energy so they could feel the light, the love, and the lessons of the opportunity it was to escape and think about what I wanted. And you never can tell how close you are. You'd have to know certainly the future, and you can't. All it takes is one touch of favor. I'm always looking for a touch of favor. Always one touch of favor, one person, one circumstance, one lottery ticket, one business opportunity, one touch of favor can change your life in an exponential way, as long as you have been enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. If you are not prepared and a touch of favor comes, nothing happens. And so many people waste touches of favor. You can never tell how close you are because of where we started. Remember, there's no certainty in the future. The only certainty is that you can only control your mindset, heart set, and what you think, say, do, believe, and of course, your personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions, and how you apply them to the circumstances that are not certain, meaning the future. But you can rely upon the change and the capabilities you have, the skills, the knowledge, and desire that you can place in the line synergistically and supplementary to what you're looking for. So you never know how close you are. It might be near when it seems afar. I like to use no as an example of this. I always say I'm 25 no's from getting what I want. So a lot of people may think I'm far. I get excited as I get closer and closer and I get more no's. You never know how close you are. So stick to the fight when your hardest hit. And I'm going to use my favorite story of this is Rocky, not the movie Rocky, but the making of the movie Rocky, where Sylvester Stallone believed in himself. Everybody was telling him no. He finally finds someone to buy his script of Rocky, and they tell him, hey, this is great. We'll give you 300 grand. He had been so poor that he actually had to sell his dog, Brutus, the dog that's actually in the movie, actually. But he sold that dog for $50 so he could live on a couch. And it was incredible, right? He keeps negotiating because he's born to be Rocky. He is Rocky. He doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about whether they have the script or not. And so finally, the negotiation came down to $30,000, and he would star in the movie. He would get to star in the movie, and they would buy the script. Gave up $270,000 net on it. But here's even the bigger irony. He took $15,000 of it, because that's what it took, to buy back his dog. Stick to the fight when your heart is hit. Rocky is literally the energy, the frequency. When you look at why are some people successful? Why did this movie resonate like it did? Because it has a true, authentic frequency, a strong signal to the right spectrum of people about not quitting. Everybody loves an underdog that doesn't quit. Rocky didn't quit on the screen, and thank goodness he did not quit off the screen. I couldn't imagine. But he believed his frequency that he was Rocky, and he was. And now I've been blessed with some of my favorite Rocky 1 through 10s, right? Creed, etc. To finish up, it's when things seem worst that you must not quit. Everybody out there, please know that you're not going to get to where you want to be. You are happy where you're at. You're at the right place at the perfect time. Twist and turn and angle to what you want, but have faith that you'll end up somewhere better, just like Rocky. So please, when things get worse, you must not quit. It is the heartbeat to your success. Please don't quit. We are going to do seeking approval training next week. So join us next week if you're one of those people that have to seek other people's approval. And we'll talk about how to get over that, do that, utilize that to your benefit. Of course, the guides, exercises, All are available for free, david@dmeltzer.com. You can join my text communities in the chat, 949-298-2905. Don't forget to apply to the pitch competition, everybody. dmeltzer/pitch, dmeltzer.com/pitch. If you want $50,000 of cash and prizes each episode, come and try out. It's on Bloomberg TV, Amazon, all of my media networks. We're going to kill it. Please join me. I want some really good pitches, anything you want to pitch. All right, let's take some Q&A. They're loading up in there. I'm going to start now. What's the difference between quitting and pivoting? That's a great question. And I think a lot of people get confused about pivoting in business, right? They'll say, oh, he quit on. Look, businesses are just a name. It's a definition. Quitting is when you stop enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. That's quitting. And I see people, although they go from the learning zone, get in their butt kicked into the comfort zone. I'm just going to sit in a cubbyhole 9 to 5 and be an accountant. That's quitting. If you're not enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, you are quitting. If you are, you're angling, twisting, turning, pivoting, whatever you want to say. You're growing, accelerating, compounding interest in your life. And you will get to where you want to be and even end up somewhere better. Guaranteed, as they say in New Orleans, guaranteed. So just enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Because when you stop and you live in that comfort zone, high, broke, sick, on your mom's couch, that's quitting. So don't quit. Are there any things you wish you quit earlier in life? That's a great question. Yeah, chewing tobacco. So there are certain things that are not something that you want to compound in your life. So we didn't talk about the reverse of this. So if there's things, addictions, obsessions, negative ego emotions, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, worried, resentful, any of these things, you want to quit it. So what do? Stop consistently and persistently pursuing that potential. Vote for what you want in your life, not what you don't want. So absolutely, I think nicotine, which quantumly for me, inherent in my DNA, nicotine's super addictive. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life because my parents smoked. My dad smoked 3 packs a day from the time he was like 14 years old till the time he died at 80. So, literally with a stroke, smoking in his bed. It's quantum. If I have one thing of nicotine right now, I'll be running to the grocery store tomorrow morning. So I have to quit. So make sure you're picking what's good to quit so you don't compound those things in your life and focus all that energy on what you do want to compound the interest of that in your life. How release/heal childhood wounds that seem to keep popping up in different forms? Practice. So all of us have subconscious and unconscious childhood, past life, energies, circumstances, experiences that we have to let go, that we have to heal, that we have to release. And the only way we can do that is practice. I utilize a system of cancel, clear, and connect, which is in my book, which I'm happy to send. I'll sign a copy, ship it to you for free. I don't care. Cancel, clear, connect. So if I have negative thoughts from childhood, I cancel them. If they remain, I clear them by breathing and meditating. If they still remain, I use connect. I use an energy shifting mechanism that's listed in the book that you can look at the light, change the life, shift the life, hold it on you. It took me 9 years one time to shift my energy of blame, shame, and justification of hate of somebody else and learn to forgive. Some people cannot forgive the unforgivable. I'm on that journey. I think peace will exist in my life when I'm capable of forgiving the unforgivable. One of the great practices of release. So make sure you forgive yourself for any childhood circumstances, as well as anyone else that participated in there. See, if you love my book, yep, go ahead, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Happy to send it to you. How do you know when you're pushing too hard or not pushing hard enough? Well, that's where that rest part come in. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. If you're pushing too hard and you feel the learning zone shrinking, you got to rest. If you continually feel the learning zone expanding, so it takes over what used to be your anxiety zone, then continue to push. So know your comfort zone, your learning zone, and your anxiety zone. And so if you push out too far in the anxiety zone, you push too hard, it'll start constricting the side of what you can learn, constricting what you're comfortable doing. That's how people have a nervous breakdown, is everything constricts down so they can't even get out of bed. You want to make sure that you're living and expanding and growing and accelerating in the learning zone. So be very conscious of the 3 zones: comfort, learning, and the anxiety zone. Continually stay within there. Keep on pushing as long as you're expanding. Rest if you must, but don't quit if you feel some constriction or too much anxiety or taking on too much. That's how you know, being cognizant of those 3 zones. I love the new ego example, the employment status, getting, and others what they think of you. How do you channel new ideas like that? Well, I'm glad that you recognize that I channel it. So, little sponsor ads for Alkaline 88. It's delicious, by the way. So the more in the flow you are, you're channeling everything, right? Nothing comes to me, it's through me. And so if I can clear the interference of my ego, I can learn about the ego, or I can learn about my relationships to others, or I can inspire others, or strengthen my frequency, or widen my spectrum, or clarify my message. All of those different things simply by using my free will to clear the connection to unbelievable source of infinity, of light, love, and lessons. All those things right there for me and through me. So practice using your free will to clear that interference that you create by worrying about your employment status, about what you have in your bank account, and what other people thinks of you, judgments, conditions. Look, when I came up with my idea to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, I can't tell you, some of the closest people in my lives laughed at me, made fun of me, scoffed at me. And now they're applauding and helping me. They're one of my 1,000 to empower 1,000. That's 1 million. To empower another 1,000. That's 1 billion. We're going to change the world, create a collective consciousness of happiness, simply because I'm utilizing my free will to expand, grow, to create the compound interest by taking out the interference and corrosion that others have caused me, and my own ego with the needs of the ego that have caused me. Is there a relationship between confidence and willingness to quit? Is there a relationship between confidence, willingness to quit? Yeah. So confidence is created by having great clarity on what you want, by a weighted balance of what you want within the context of your values, personal, experiential, giving and receiving values, and focusing in on it, utilizing the mathematical equation of luck. So what I pay attention to through that clarity and balance, what I give intention to with focus, what I think, say, do, and believe in the unconscious competencies that I have, meaning personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions, any of those, what I do, attention plus intention equals luck, equals the coincidences that I want. So the more confident I am, clarity, balance, and focus creates confidence, creates that attention and intention, then I will have less willingness to quit, because the more I see something is already being done, or just me accessing it, the greater the circumstances is that I will have faith that it will happen. Confidence and faith are very paralleled as well. Good question, though, made me think. All these are good questions. So I applied for a project pitching, hoping I won't get it, but I did, and now I'm so scared and nervous. The pitch is tomorrow, and I don't know if I have the idea, if I can come up with the right pitch. So I feel I should just leave and don't do it. Don't know. Whoa. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I will send you the perfect pitch guide. I will teach you how to create credibility in your pitch, get the emotional attachment you need, and quantifiably create an explanation of the reasons why they should invest in you, the impact you're going to have, and of course, the capabilities, the skills, the knowledge, and desire that you have in order to effectuate. Do not quit. There's a reason that you applied. There's even further reason why they accepted you. And then there's a further reason why you're thinking about quitting. All of those are lessons that you're going to learn. And no matter how you do, you're going to attach your emotions, not to the outcome, but you're going to attach the emotions to this process, this journey, the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential by what? Asking for help. Hey, what you should have said is, hey, Dave, do you know anyone can help me? I got a pitch tomorrow. All of this carries negative energy, resistance, void, shortages. You're working against yourself. Work with me. I'm happy to help. Colleen will send you a perfect pitch guide. We'll get right on it, and you're going to win that competition tomorrow. It's already done. It's done. David@dmeltzer.com. Anybody else want the perfect pitch guide? Go ahead, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'm happy to send that to you. Any of the exercises, guides on Don't Quit, my book for free. I'll sign it, send it to you. I don't care. It's all there to help empower you to empower others. How do you gain faith? Faith is a practice. Why is it a practice? Because it's a currency. It's like gaining money. How do we gain money? We practice figuring out how to allow it into our lives. It's an energy. It's a currency, an objective energy that we put into the flow to get what we want at a pragmatic level. Faith is the same way. We keep putting faith into the universe. It's an objective energy that we put into the universe to get what we want. It allows us to not quit. It allows us to have clarity, balance, focus. It allows us to be able to use our free will to clear the interference to the great abundance that we're connected to, source of light, love, and lessons at all times. So practice making money, practice making faith. Both are currencies. What about when you're lowest of all? I think it says here, right, that failures turns inside out, and the faint and faltering man, the struggler, would have given up when he would have captured the victor's cup. What about when you're lowest of all? What's the advantage of it? Let's look at the light, the love, and the lessons when you're at the lowest at all. When I lost everything, I remember walking into my house and my wife didn't know. We were blessed before we got kicked out of it when I went bankrupt. But Julie was in the kitchen, didn't know I was home. And then she was talking to her uncle and she was crying, worried about the lowest of all, that we were being, kicked out of everything. She was crying to her uncle. And I remember what he said because it's still inspiring to me today. I can't wait to see what David Meltzer does with his back against the wall. There's a huge advantage. There's a huge advantage. Think about it physically, metaphysically, quantum physically. Think about it when you're getting backed up, lower and lower, backed up and backed up. How much force do you have when it's against the wall? They can move me, they can bend me, but they ain't gonna break me. That's an advantage. When I'm the lowest at all, I know I'm ready to bounce back up. I got more support, more foundation than ever. I get a clean start. I get to take every lesson, all the light, the love, and the lessons of everything that I did and utilize it to my advantage and start over with nothing to lose. No matter what you say, if you have something to lose, it diminishes and dissolves some capacity and strength that you have because you are in one way or another afraid that you will not have what you have already gained. But if you can live life from that lowest point and be able to plateau and grow and have a new low every day that allows you to accelerate and grow, and a new baseline every day that allows you to accelerate and grow and utilize compound interest to increase what you're doing. If you could have a new low every day and your back is always against the wall with nothing to lose, because why? You have faith that there's more than enough of everything for everything. So I'm not afraid of losing anything because there's more than enough of everything. It's just meant to come through me. I have still the jacket with no pockets hanging in my closet that my dad gave me for my 30th birthday. It's still hanging there, reminding me every day that I'm not going to be the richest man in the cemetery, that money does not buy happiness. Money does not buy happiness. It's guaranteed. Those pockets are empty because that's what I'm taking with me. It's all coming through me for others, not to me, not for me. I'm not a victim. Nothing happens to me and nothing's for me. I'm not buying shit I don't need to impress people I don't like anymore. No more. I'm living my life with my back against the wall. Every day, I'm the lowest of all. And I'm going to rise up with inspiration to be of service and of value to others and ask for help with radical humility. Can we avoid learning lessons by using common sense? Yeah, you can use statistically common sense, which some people would think it's a remembrance, a recollection. Common sense is intuitive of something that's already been experienced by you in a past life or genetically, quantum in your DNA. But yeah, absolutely. These lessons are best learned. I always say, find someone that sits in the situation or is in the place that you want to be in and ask them for directions. That's the best common sense that I have. It entices and includes the inherent being of humility, of asking for that help. But common sense is intuition. You can practice your intuition. I know I brought this up. Bob Proctor taught me this. I sit on airplanes and I stare at the people in front of me and I watch them wrestle around at first, and I keep on staring and thinking, and then they kind of lean over a little, and then finally, if I'm really good at practicing intuition, they look through the hole because something is calling them to look through back at me. The same thing is utilized with common sense. It's a remembrance, a recollection of what we already know. intuition, finding what is inside of us to see what's outside of us, a power that's unfathomable, one that we don't utilize enough, but you can use those lessons absolutely to learn from past experiences, past lives, or others. How do you connect with source? By doing good, right? So when we're in the pursuit of our potential, when we're truthful, when we're doing good for others, when we're doing good deeds, when we're providing service or value or asking for help or showing humility, when we're living in gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, we are connecting to source. Now, the difference is we are always connected to source. We're always connected to it. What I want you to do is shift your perspective that how do I clear the interference between me and what I'm already connected to? Most people are trying to somehow think there's a free will that connects us. No, you are already healed. You are already abundant. You are already a son, a child of the universe. You are already part of oneness. You already are inherently powerful. You need to liberate that light by clearing the interference, the voids, the shortages, the corrosion between you and what you're already connected to. So you don't connect to source, you clear the connection that you already have. You don't connect to source, you clear the connection that you already have. David, I'm in my early 70s, beautiful, and starting afresh to earn income. Like my friend Orville Redenbacher, who started Orville Redenbacher Popcorn at 70 some in Indiana, and people thought he was crazy. Now they applaud him. So I have enough money to live on. I wish I could redo my life and choices. No, so I have more money now. Okay, I realize I have to forgive myself. Sometimes I get overwhelmed and scared. Me too. What would you say to me? I still have a desire to share info with parents and to develop a teaching and coaching business. And there are so many parenting coaches out there. How would you design your program at this stage in my life? One ambassador at a time. You got to crawl before you walk, before you run. You know, my executive coaching business started with a kid that I walked off stage that said, will you mentor me? I didn't even know what executive coach was. And I told him, hey, give me 3 friends your age and come meet me at this picnic table by my house at 7 a.m. on Sundays every other week. Donate $100 to charity, each of you guys, and I'll give you an hour of my time to answer any questions and give you the situational knowledge and experience that I have. No need for you to pay the extreme dummy tax that I've paid in my life. I'm happy to help you. And I kept on doing that. And lo and behold, I have one of the top executive business coaching practices in the world, all because I went and just helped somebody and learned how to do this the best that I could. So get started, get out of your own way. Don't look backwards, tear the rear view mirror off your car. All right, tear the rear view mirror off that car. Just look forward. Think about all the lessons you've learned, all the things that you're capable of sharing with people so that they don't have to pay that dummy tax that you don't have enough money to live on. You don't have to pay the dummy tax of all the things that you did that you wish you didn't do. If you had the chance to teach the lessons and allow people to share in that, empower them to empower others with that. Just get started, find one, and then times that calculator 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And who knows, you may have 2 million people like me just begging you to help. Free trainings, group trainings, one-on-one, books, podcasts, TV shows, all types of things that we do. It all started because one kid, when I stepped off a stage, asked for my help. The universe has no accidents. Attention plus intention equals the coincidences. You can do it. Just go ahead, start with one and build from there. What role does the ego play in quitting? The ego edges goodness out of your life and it edges quitting in. So it plays a major role. People that quit are in fear, primal fear, right? The Freudian fears that you can look up, feed, flight, fight, etc. And also the secondary fears that interfere with what we want and tell us that we need to quit. And so the role that ego plays is a crucial role. And if you're not a ferocious Buddha, if you don't learn to identify how the ego is telling you to quit, and if you don't stop when it's telling you, if you try to resist it or accelerate through it or around it or under it or over it, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to create more void shortages and obstacles. What you resist persists, but you just got to stop, drop down, breathe, find your center, your neutral, your higher frequency, plateau and grow right to what you want to and where you want to. Taking inventory of your values, asking for help, being a student, attention plus intention equals coincidences, being present, doing things now, and most importantly, practicing ending fear. You can do it. Ego is at play all the time when you want to quit. You know who's telling you to quit? Your ego. That's who's telling you to quit. It's all fear-based emotion, a soul-sucking emotion. It might fear get you up, get you back up. It might fear get you started, get you back started, but it ain't going to get you there because you're going to quit. You're going to run out of it. It's going to suck the soul dry. It's going to take all your energy. You're not going to be able to do it. Don't do it. Ego plays a major role in quitting. It's the voice that tells you to quit. Why say money doesn't buy happiness? Thank you. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it's super important. My motto is make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it allows you to shop. And if you shop for what you want, if you're not a victim and you don't allow it to happen to you, and you don't buy things you don't need, if you don't buy different things to make you happy, if you don't buy more things to make you happy, if you don't buy things to impress people, or even worse, buy things to impress people you don't like, if you shop for the right things to help others, to build abundance, to do good things with, you will be super happy. I'm all about making a lot of money and helping you make a lot of money, but it's not going to buy you happiness if you buy the wrong things. It's not going to buy you happiness if you're scarce. It's not going to buy you happiness if you're trying to impress others with it. But if you buy the right things, my friend, money will buy you happiness if you shop for the right things. Great question. Tell us about keeping our vibration high. Everything vibrates. The earth vibrates the slowest. Plants, animals, humans, all vibrate. Then light, and then sound, and then light, and then thought. And the number one thing that vibrates the fastest is the truth. The truth vibrates the fastest. Here's the thing about vibration. You can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than you. You can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than you. And awareness is the most important thing. Awareness allows you to know when to buy or sell, whether to eat that or not, whether to take the trip, whether, to do that business deal, partner with that person, marry that person, kiss that person, whatever it is. Your vibration is essential to your awareness, and awareness is the most valuable thing that you can have because it makes life simple, because it gives you the intuition and connection of what you should be doing in order to angle to what you want and have more faith in getting it. Vibration is everything, and to understand what defers or deters or dissolves our vibration is essential, which is what we were talking about earlier, the ego. The ego is not your amigo. I saw that in there, right? It edges goodness out of your life. EGO. The employment status, what you got, and what other people think. Get it out. Let's spend minutes and moments in ego. You're not going to be able to have an egoectomy. If I could make an invention and win the Nobel Peace Prize, it would be to have an egoectomy. I can't do it. So what I try to do is train people with the muscle of how to live minutes and moments in ego, not days, weeks, months, and years. All right. Let's all try to live minutes and moments in the needs, the primary needs and secondary needs of the ego. And let's leave out the months, years that we spend wasting time, resources, and money, ruining relationships, not getting what we want, putting faith in the wrong things and getting the wrong things in our life. How do you have faith to grow your money rather than shrink it when you spend? Well, remember, I have an abundant attitude. So for me, I'm only focused on making money, and then I allow it to come through me for others. So my money is not a concern emotionally once it's made, because I've predetermined its distribution to others, and allow others to go ahead and facilitate it. When my focus is that I have everything I need or I wouldn't be here, when my focus is I'm at the right way at the perfect time, when my focus is I'm an abundant world in between infinity and limitlessness, when my focus is in and I can make as much as I can and allow it to come through me with appreciation, gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, to inspire others, when I do that, more and more will come through me. I don't care where it goes after that, right? It's connected to everything. I'm part of that. So I used to spend so much time spending my time, emotion, energy on making the money that I already made grow and then losing it. That makes no sense to me. If I just would have stayed focused on making enough money for everything that I need and others need, I would be fine. I don't care if it sits in a bank and doubles, triples, or quadruple, because I'm more focused on tripling and quadrupling the amount of money of intake, not what's sitting in a bank. I'm more into the intake than the bank. I'll never fail. You can never keep me down if I'm making more and more, doubling the amount of money I make as fast as I can. Who cares how much of my money that came through me is making for whoever I gave it to or whatever it's doing? I don't care because I am strictly 100% focused on receiving through me for everybody else that's connected to me. I'm not wasting any time, emotion, and energy in the rear view mirror. That doesn't even phase me. If I'm going to if there's excess of anything of savings that's needed for security or risk aversion, it's going to be in a guaranteed solution like an IUL or annuity, something that I know if the market crashes will make 2%. If it goes up, I'll make 60 or 70% of it or something like that. That's why I partner with guys like Marshall Falk and Ed Milet in order to do that. Because I only want to focus on the intake, on receiving so I can give, not giving so I can receive. I'm not doubling the amount of money I save. I'm doubling the amount of money I make as fast as I can. Can you tell people about pivoting? Like I said, I have to be everything but a singer to eventually be a singer. Pivoting to me is growing, accelerating, expanding, understanding compound interest. It's notating that I'm happy where I'm at, aiming to where I want to be, but of course, having faith I'll end up somewhere better. So pivoting to me is growing, learning, staying in the learning zone, knowing that I'm not constricting it with anxiety or ego, shrinking my learning zone to a comfort zone, the comfort zone into anxiety. I am not doing that. It's all about learning, finding pain to be a lesson. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain is just an indicator, a turn signal to pivot, grow, twist and turn, as the poem says, into something better. The right way to determine the target market in our business, for example, what kind, can you give a little example? The right way to determine the target market in our business, for example, what kind? So for me, in order to figure out the best market, the lowest hanging fruit, I'm searching initially for open minds. Remember, it takes as much energy to re-engineer a closed mind or convince a closed mind that it does 1,000 open minds. And if we're asking 1,000 open minds if they know anyone that can help us, we're going to get the exponentiality of 1,000,000, 1,000 times 1,000's 1,000,000. So what I use to determine the target market in my business is I'm targeting people with open minds, asking them for help, learning the lessons, and specifically finding the criteria and the data that allows me to start narrowing that target to people that not only are more likely to be customers of mine, but have open minds. But open minds are the number one thing that you want to look for in people when you're doing business. Got time for one last question. I'd love to read your book. Would you send me one? Perfect last question. All right, everybody out there, next week's training is seeking approval. If you have a difficult time because you're seeking approval of others, if you have a difficult time with the judgments, conditions, and approvals of others, if you have trouble in time, resources, and money about this process of seeking approval, come to the training, watch the replays on Spotify. It's featured there. Right there, the list of all these trainings are there for free. On Entrepreneur, the playbook is featured there. You have every single platform that it's on. You can get this stuff for free. Every single one of my guides, Ultimate Ego Guide, Perfect Pitch Guides, Closing the Deal Guides, Don't Quit Guides are all free. David@dmeltzer.com. And to answer the last question, all of my book, give me a David@dmeltzer.com. I'll sign it, ship it to you, pay for shipping if you want. And remember, most importantly, 2-Minute Drill is launching. We did it. It's on Bloomberg, on Amazon, on every platform. Try out $50,000 of cash and prizes at every episode. You got to join me. Please apply, dmeltzer.com/pitch. Lastly, if you want to join my text community, it's listed as well. 949-298-2905, 949-298-2905, or email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Remember, everybody, seeking approval training next week. Catch the replays on Spotify, 2-Minute Drill, pitch competition, guides, exercises, books for free. I don't know what else I can tell you. Hopefully I didn't miss anything except for this. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break.